Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha Television. You're watching The Big Picture with me, Frank Pereira. The debate on whether electronic voting machines can be tampered with has reached a feverish pitch after media reports that a voter verifiable paper audit trail machine was dispensing only BJP slips during a demonstration exercise in Madhya Pradesh. The opposition parties alleged that tampered EVMs had possibly helped BJP during the recently held assembly elections, an allegation that the Election Commission has rubbished. Alleging EVM tampering, the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party have demanded the return of ballot paper for polls. The BJP, meanwhile, has said that it has full faith in the Election Commission and EVMs. After the Uttar Pradesh elections, it was the BSP that had first raised questions on EVMs after its dismal loss in the polls. On this edition of The Big Picture, we will analyze if the Election Commission has done enough to restore faith in the EVMs. Joining me on the program today are Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, former Chief Election Commissioner; Jagdeep S. Chokar, retired Professor, IIM Ahmedabad; Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, Senior Associate Editor, Frontline; and Gopal Krishna Agarwal, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the program. Dr. Qureshi, I'd like to start with you, of course. Do you believe the Election Commission has handled this entire controversy well?
Well, I think they could do a little more. They should be more vocal. They should hold a press conference, according to me, because this time, the way it went viral, all issues which were raised have to be answered. Of course, the Election Commission has a very good explanation, but they should come out with it more openly, more loudly. Keeping quiet is not the option for the Election Commission. Nation want to hear Election Commission for its reassurance, and they should do it without delay.
Indeed. You know, Professor, this is a very valid point that Dr. Qureshi is talking about. I mean, if you have an explanation, why don't you come out in the open and talk about it? As far as the allegations being made by the Aam Aadmi Party against, EVM tampering in the Punjab polls, the Election Commission has said it's for you to introspect about the polls, forget about the EVMs. I mean, but then the explanation really has not come out from the Election Commission.
You see, I cannot give you an explanation on behalf of the Election Commission, number one. Well, before that, let me say this is the first time I am appearing on the show Big Picture after the sad demise of my friend Girish Nikam, and I cannot help but remember him and pay tribute to him. So, that having been done,
he'll always be fondly remembered here.
Yeah. Election Commission, I think, went a little beyond what it should have done when it asked a political party to introspect. And as several reports in the media have said, it is not the Election Commission job to, pontificate or educate political parties. Political parties know what they are doing, or one hopes they know what they are doing. But Election Commission, in my assessment, there was nothing wrong with the EVMs that were used in the 5 state assembly elections. What has recently been seen in Madhya Pradesh, where there are going to be 2 by-elections, and in the trials for those by-elections, one VVPAT or voter verifiable paper audit trail machine misbehaved. Obviously, there is something wrong, and Election Commission has actually apparently transferred to officials to which there has been some resistance by the state government. The Chief Secretary or the Revenue Secretary has decided to conduct an inquiry himself, and now the Election Commission is asking for his explanation. So that's a side story going on. But that VVPAT machine which misbehaved certainly needs a complete explanation, because the integrity and the credibility of the Election Commission is a very, very hard earned entity. And in such situations, it is very difficult to build up credibility, and it is very easy to lose it. The Election Commission, as Dr. Qureshi has rightly said, since he has been in that position long enough, Election Commission has to protect its integrity and credibility very, very strongly, but within a certain limit of propriety and decency and probity, in which making such statements about political parties is not necessarily a good part of that. So, Election Commission must come out clearly to explain what happened in that one machine which misbehaved. The reports in the media are, as always, kind of confusing and misleading. Some people wrote in the media that the chief electoral officer was threatening media people not to report it. Some said she seemed to be saying this jokingly. I have not seen that video which went viral, because I don't get involved in things which get viral. But whatever has happened to that one VVPAT machine must be brought out in the public domain as quickly as possible. The longer this doubt remains, the more doubts about the credibility of the machines, and I am afraid to say of the Election Commission, will keep going on. So this needs to be dealt with, as Dr. Qureshi said, firmly and quickly.
Sure, indeed. Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, as far as this particular issue is concerned, this issue in Madhya Pradesh, do you believe that what happened with that VVPAT has dented the image of the Election Commission?
See, if you look at the history of the use of EVMs in the recent past, you would see that that in Assam, before the Assam elections, also there were about 250 odd machines which were found faulty. I mean, technology is not as though technology is foolproof. Technology can have, it can develop glitches. It can have so many problems. So I think we have to look at this what happened in Madhya Pradesh also as something which reflects this, as something which kind of points to the technology glitch. I would not say that unlike some of the parties which have been complaining that that it's a major conspiracy and sorry. So that that there is a larger conspiracy to kind of tamper with EVMs. So there's no tangible proof to say that. But the fact of the matter is, once this has happened, I think the Election Commission should have actually laid all its explanation properly on the table, as both Professor Saab and Qureshi Saab have very clearly said. They should have said that, and this overreach that they did in terms of asking a political party to introspect and all that, I think it's not in the brief of the Election Commission at all. So I think there's been a major slip up on the part of the Election Commission, both in terms of its conduct and both in terms as a responsible institution which needs to explain its conduct to the people. I think these two things they have very majorly erred, and I think Election Commission needs to take course correction as early as possible.
Sure, indeed. Course correction, that's something that we're going to take up in just a bit. But before that, let me go across to Gopal Krishna Agarwal of the BJP. There's no smoke without fire, Mr. Agarwal, and there seems to be a lot of this happening of late. It was the Samajwadi Party that raised this issue first after the recently held 5-state assembly elections, and of course post that the Congress, the Aam Aadmi Party and everyone has been talking about it. What are your views?
No, I think we should understand that this allegation did not start only after the recent incident that some people are pointing out. It is actually, this started after the election results. Mayawati started the very same day where the results were announced. Then the Samajwadi Party also showed this kind of irresponsible behavior. Congress joined, and now Arvind Kejriwal, he has a habit of just alleging anything and everything around the world and then just not giving any proof, and suddenly he thinks that he knows everything and whatever he says has the last word that he has, and this attitude itself is not correct. So these allegations started much before the current incident that you are pointing out, and the explanation which the Election Commission has given at various point of time, all the points are very categorically and clarified that we have a foolproof system in the matter that our EVMs are isolated machines. They are not connected through a single network, so there cannot be mass tampering. Though they have said that there can be fault with isolated machines or anything, it's a technology, those fault will be, if pointed out, will be corrected, but there cannot be a mass tampering of the EVM. That's very specifically established. And the next thing that we should understand is, when we talk that the Election Commission has overreached or they should respond in a responsible manner, why don't we ask the political parties and opposition to be more responsible? They are simply alleging. Do they have any proof? So isolated tampering, etc. we see in the machine sometimes when the agent finds a fault in any machine, that machine is rejected out of 45,000 or 50,000 machines being used in single election. Technically that can happen, but ultimately this is, and what are you comparing it with? They are asking for a paper trail. They are asking for a paper ballot paper. Is paper ballot a better alternative than EVM? So that is the question that we should ask. Ki what are you talking? The way paper ballot was taking place, the amount of manipulation or rigging of election that was taking place in the country, in the remote areas, EVM has come out with a big answer to those problems. We are not talking, we have to question the mentality of these political party, particularly AAP, that every allegation they have to give a substantive proof.
Sure.
What
Okay.
they have, just a video viral or anything, is not a proof enough. And then Election Commission has told them to go to the court. Why are not they going to the court? They are creating a false perception in the mind of the people. This is not the politics that is expected of a responsible parties, and AAP has proved completely irresponsible in
Okay,
its
fair
every
enough.
activity.
We're not let you go ahead with the political picture on the program because we don't have other political parties to defend themselves. But let me go across to Dr. Qureshi and ask him about a question. Of course, Dr. Qureshi, as far as technology is concerned, tampering is concerned, how easy or how difficult is it really to tamper with an EVM?
Look, tampering machine is EVM is absolutely impossible. We have said it many times because there are technological checks, there are administrative controls, and every single machine is tested 3 times, and every time it is tested, it is done in the presence of the political parties or their agents. And the last test is in fact, there are 3 mock polls also on every machine, and the last mock poll is on the day of the poll itself. From 6 to 7. Now, if a machine is functioning very fine at 7 o'clock, certified by the political party agent in the morning, and if it malfunctions during the day and to blame the machine later is totally wrong. In any case, in the case of Punjab, if some specific complaints were brought to the notice of the Election Commission gave a very suitable reply that before the result is announced, if you point out a flaw, the result will be stopped and the machine can be checked. But once the result has been announced, these machines go out of bounds for everybody, including the Election Commission. We cannot touch it. Only the court can order, and therefore through the election petition, and they would do the right thing by going to the court within 45 days, and court can order the opening of these machines and see whether a vote cast for A was going into the account of B. That will get known. So this is one issue of the Punjab issue and the EVM. What happened in Madhya Pradesh, that was about the transparency of the VVPAT. This is the first time we have come across a complaint like this. An answer has to be found suitably. I had a talk with some officials of the Election Commission, and they mentioned that one of the senior most CEOs, his name is Bhavar Lal from Andhra Pradesh, he has been deputed to do on-the-spot inquiry, and his report should be coming by today, or if not today, by tomorrow. After that, I would strongly urge the Election Commission to come out openly and, in fact, call an all-party meeting, call all the media, do a full-fledged press conference, demonstrate once again all the EVM and the VVPAT functioning, and exactly what happened in Madhya Pradesh. My understanding was that, when you are demonstrating a machine, you are supposed to have dummy names, not actual names of parties, which was a mistake. Perhaps that is the reason why some officers have been transferred. But I'm not too sure. The Election Commission should announce. And finally, the sentence which they used, the preaching up, is totally uncalled for. I've mentioned about it. I think they should expunge it. They should withdraw it. And if I'm in their shoes, I would even apologize, because that will be the most dignified thing to do, because we never tire of telling our 11 million staff that neutrality and the perception of neutrality is non-negotiable. We never make a political comment. This sounded like a political comment which many other parties were making already. I don't know how it slipped in, inadvertence. it should be rectified.
Indeed. Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, was it just a case of human error, or was it the case of the Election Commission being swayed by the political mood in the country that a statement like that was made?
Well, I do not know. Basically, it is completely uncalled for. I mean, we have been, witnessing elections for, since 1952, and I don't think that any election commissioner, I mean, there have been many election commissioners of many hues and colors, and there have been many election commissioners who have been kind of, who have been branded as partisan. But I don't think that anybody has come up with a statement like this. It's completely out of place, overreach, and it is not at all acceptable. Coming to the comments made by Mr. Agarwal, I would like to point out that it is not as though the BJP was a party which accepted EVMs all through. As recently as 2012, one of its main spokespersons, I think a spokesperson who is senior to Mr. Agarwal, GVL Narasimha Rao, he wrote this book called Democracy at Risk, Can We Trust Our Electronic Voting Machines? And it had a foreword by none other than Lal Krishna Advani. Subramania Swami's arguments very majorly incorporated into the book. And it was a kind of a technology come political study which kind of rubbished the EVMs like anything. So, the BJP's defense of the EVMs is kind of quite strange, just as the critique of the EVMs or the Bahujan Samaj Party or the Aam Aadmi Party may sound kind of very shrill and kind of fiery. But the fact of the matter is, the political expediency game is being played by everybody, all the political parties. When the elections results suit them, they support the EVMs. When the election results do not suit them, they blame the EVMs. And some people like Mr. Rao kind of they take the very aggressive posture and blame it very aggressively. So the blame game has been played by everybody. But what is most unfortunate, according to me, political parties are tend to play these games, and everybody knows that they normally do it. But the Election Commission getting into it is I think the lowest point in this whole discussion.
Indeed, fair enough. Let's take the discussion forward and talk about a point that Mr. Agarwal was talking about, the paper ballot system. Professor, is that something that we can think about at this point in time, as is being asked for by the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party? Is it time to go back to that system?
My own sense is no. The paper ballot had no end of problems. First of all, printing paper ballots, having ballot boxes, there were I remember that instances of people running away with ballot boxes, and of course stuffing ballot boxes, booth capturing, and the sheer logistics or the enormity of the logistics. And then I remember when there used to be counting, Shamiana used to be put up, and there will be a huge mela and people will be counting for 3 or 4 days, and the amount of security that would be needed, I don't think it is possible to do that at all. And again, I want to reiterate, the conventional EVMs without the paper verifiable trade or VV, voter verifiable paper audit trail, VVPAT, non-VVPAT machines have had no problem. And as was just pointed out, every party, whenever they lose, they start yelling about the EVMs. And I should not say so, but if and when BJP loses somewhere, they will also say EVMs are bad. So for the BJP to defend EVMs today is very nice. And of course, the BJP representative also said that the political party should be asked to behave responsibly. That I think is a very important point. Not only the opposition parties, the party in power also should behave responsibly. The interesting thing is, every party thinks other parties are behaving irresponsibly. Actually, and this comment was just made by my colleague here, that political parties play these games and everybody knows. I think this is the bane of democracy in India, that political parties have now come to be expected to misbehave. And we all citizens say, oh, this is what political parties do. Why should they do that? Political parties ought to be the most responsible institutions in the country, because they are the custodians of democracy. We have given them a carte blanche that you can do what you like, we will let you go. They are not recalcitrant young children that we accept misbehavior from them. I think we should hold all political parties to account, and a political party which says in one election that EVMs are bad, it should then, this is an extreme statement which can't really happen. They should not win any election then because EVMs are bad. I mean, this is ridiculous. For political parties have to learn to behave, whether in opposition or in power. That is the problem, and if we could get our political parties to behave, and that is a huge if, then there will be no problem with EVMs also.
Sure. Okay. Mr. Agarwal, do you want to respond to that?
There are three aspects to this discussion today debate. One thing is, has EVM is tamper-proof or not? That has been well established by the Election Commission. They have several times answered all the questions raised about the various issues that various parties have raised, that can they be tempered. They have very categorically answered all those questions. Then the second aspect of the debate was what is the alternative that the people are asking for? That is a paper ballot. That is not the answer. That also is a well-established fact now, that going back to the paper ballot is not the answer to EVM. That is also very clear. The third is important also, that has Election Commission overreach in advising our party. That maybe we also think that it could have been avoided. But ultimately, when it is said that we are only supporting EVM when we have won the election, it's not the right thing. In Punjab, we have lost. We have not performed as well in Goa and in Manipur as we had expected. So that is not the only question that we are supporting EVM. So EVM support is a different issue. And we have come out after in 2009, when there was an opposition. I had a talk with Mr. Rao also. We have come out of that position, and we have moved ahead in 2017. It's 8 years, and many things have improved. Technology has improved, and isolated EVM tampering cases or malfunctioning is can be there, but it
so your sense is the BJP has come to power, things have changed, and that's why the EVMs also have changed, and it's become a good thing. Fine, fair enough. Okay, Dr. Qureshi, what's the way forward as far as, reposing or returning this faith itself is concerned within the Election Commission? How does the Election Commission restore this faith now that all this has happened?
Information, communication, they should communicate. And as soon as the report of the CEO of the Bhavan Lal is available, which should be expedited, Election Commission should come out without delay, because political parties forget about these issues and they get okay with the problem. But if the public perception gets widespread, that becomes very difficult to change. Therefore, we should not lose any time at all. And we have already lost 2 or 3 days. What exactly happened in Madhya Pradesh has to be told to the nation. I'm sure there will be a very good explanation. I have no doubt about it. But let us come out with this and share it with the nation, and then people will be okay with it. That's the only way forward, communication.
Okay, communication is the way forward. Good communication has always helped everyone in the past, and we've seen that happening. Has too much damage already been done, Professor? Is it too late now to come out with an explanation?
No, I don't think the damage has been done. There is still, regardless of the immaturity of the behavior of political parties, which was not responded to, there is, I think, in the public opinion, there is a fair bit of maturity, and I think people will give the Election Commission a fair chance, but delay can be damaging. As Dr. Qureshi has repeatedly said, they must come clean as soon as possible and completely upfront. If there has been a mistake, if there has been a technical problem, if there has been a human error, everything should be put out in the open. As somebody said, sunshine is the best disinfectant. Once the Election Commission shares whatever information there is, I think its credibility will be back to what it was. But if it tries to give a wishy-washy explanation, leaving questions unanswered, that would create a serious damage not only to the reputation of the Election Commission, but to the credibility of democracy in the country and to the credibility of Indian democracy in the world.
So you're suggesting come out completely clean no matter what it is?
Yes. If there is a mistake, own up the mistake. And as Dr. Qureshi said, which is very gracious of him to say, that he would even, in a different context, that he would even go to the extent of apologizing. There is nothing wrong. Human beings do make mistakes, otherwise...
To err is human.
To err is human, and to forgive is public, not divine. Public will forgive, provided there is an honest admission of an honest mistake.
Sure.
If the mistake is dishonest, there will be no forgiving.
Indeed.
And if the admission is not honest, there will be no forgiving. So it's a very, very tricky and a very delicate situation, and the Election Commission in a way is on test.
Indeed.
Yes.
Indeed, the Election Commission is on test, and it remains to be seen what happens in the next few days, of course. Venkatesh Ramakrishnan, your closing remarks on the program.
Well, I think, the point that, that they have to communicate, the information has to be shared, I think that is all very well taken. But according to me, it is not just dissemination of information and communication that is required. It needs to be transparent. I think the key word is transparency. If you give any information which seems to be non-transparent, which lacks, it has got a transparency deficiency, then it's not going to work. So I think one of the primary arguments itself of the Election Commission, that EVMs cannot be tampered. I think, these blanket statements don't work, because you have experiences from across the world. Country like Netherlands, country like Italy, they have tried this and they've withdrawn it. They've gone back to the paper ballot. Why? Because they have experienced this. The technology is susceptible to tampering. It is susceptible to various kinds of violations. So, to start with, I think the Election Commission needs to explain how the Indian EVMs are better off or different from what the experience of the rest of the world was. And on that basis, they should say that that these things are there, but no technology is tamper-proof or foolproof. There must have been something, but then we are looking into it, and we have already looked into this, and this is the report that we have to present it for you. And I think this transparency needs to be the key word that guides Selection Commission.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yes, Professor, very quickly because I'm out of time.
While agreeing completely with the transparency requirement, I must register my disagreement.
I would like to comment
on this comparison between Norway and Netherlands and so on. That comparison and those questions have been answered repeatedly.
Sure.
So raising them again and again really doesn't solve any purpose.
Fair enough. All right. Mr. Agarwal, close the show for us very quickly with your closing remarks. I'm completely out of time on the program.
This Election Commission has been fair enough when it says that the individual machines can have fault or there can be errors in individual machine, but it cannot be mass manipulation the way when they are internet connected. Therefore, that's individual machines do not matter in that way. Second thing, I agree with Mr. Qureshi when he says that they should come out with explanation on the Madhya Pradesh incident and come out with a fast clearance on that issue. And the third thing that I would like to mention is the institution, independent institution like Election Commission should not answer every allegations which is not substantiated in a political platforms. So there is no need.
Fair enough. I'm completely out of time on the program today, so I have to wrap it at that. Dr. S.Y. Qureshi, Jagdeep S. Chokar and Venkatesh Ramakrishnan as well as Gopal Krishna Agarwal. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me on the program and putting things into perspective for us. That's all the time we have on this edition of The Big Picture. See you again next time.